of the, one of the quandaries that we as an industry have is that everybody, I think you've got to be blind to reality to say that mobile is not going to happen or something like that. But one of the problems I think is that have we in India learned how to monetize mobile? We all know 800 million phones, we all know news is going to go there, we all know it's a very personal medium, but have we really learned how to monetize it?
Unfortunately not, Ashish, and that's and this is something that I think other industries have gone through as well. Until we hit a tipping point in terms of numbers, as we were discussing, that could be 300 million smartphones in India, 350 million smartphones. Until we hit that tipping point, and until we are able to solve two more problems. One is bandwidth, and the second is this whole technology learning paradigm, the ability to personalize. I think that's still very raw. So the example that I gave of the young parent with toddlers in Mumbai, now technology is addressing all of that. And some algorithms are good, some of them are still taking shape. I believe once we're able to really finally target audiences, once these three things happen, 300 million plus smartphones, bandwidth, both those issues are very clearly getting sorted out. 300 million will be with us in the next 18 months or so. Bandwidth has to happen. And then technology is getting better every day. Once this happens, then I, frankly, as an advertiser, have no reason to scatter bomb and waste my money. I'll just give you a very tiny personal example. My book was published this week, and the whole marketing campaign for that, the brand awareness campaign or the book title awareness campaign, 90% of it is digital. Because as I'm only interested in reaching the LinkedIn kind of audience, I really don't want to spend 25 lakh rupees on one insert in one newspaper, or or a few inserts in a television channel, because 25 lakhs on digital buys me God knows how much.
That's true. Coming back to news, which was very interesting the way you described, and I think it was eye-opening for all of us how content is going to be consumed and how the whole thing is changing with respect to mobile. But one thought that comes to mind is that news particularly has been something where the newscaster or the presenter has been very important, has become even more important with television. So even in the print days, you would always, pre-television days, you would look for a particular journalist and, his coverage. Now, now either nation wants to know, or you're walking the talk, or you're frankly speaking. So it's almost news and the newscaster have become one in a way, including yourself when you used to do your programs. Now, tell me, with a medium like mobile, will that undergo a change? How will consumers respond to that? Because on a small thing like that, will that relationship be able to be formed?
The relationship will be far more tenuous because mobile audiences don't have the patience for 90-minute shows. They simply don't. They are looking for, what's the gist? Give it to me in 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And increasingly, as I said, our audience is 20 to 35. All research tells us that television audiences, television news, English language television news audiences are very, very old. When I was there at Network 18, every day we used to be gripped by this paranoia of English language news audiences are falling on television. Not Hindi, English. And getting older, because those were the guys who were watching it. So I think that the newscaster, if he wants to remain relevant in this mobile world, will have to change him. His style, his delivery, his method of dissemination. He'll have to go into shorter sound bites. People have done it. The John Olivers of this world have made a great success of being on digital devices. So I think our titans will also have to relearn the rules of the game. They'll have to cater to their audiences, which are going to be increasingly on mobile. So if they can't see it coming now, in 4 or 5 years, you will see that they will have to break up their content dissemination into shorter, more attractive, spiffier, younger language, or stay with the 50 plus.
True. And if you see what's been happening for the last 24 hours, ever since the BRC research, BARC research was saying, every news channel seems to be now claiming they have that particular sect of audience and not. So it sounds like a lot of chaos going on over there.
Yeah, and you know, digital, the younger audiences are actually consuming it entirely on digital.
Almost certainly. Yeah.
Entirely.
Yeah. You know, one thought, Raghav, is that India at the end of the day is 1.2 billion people, right? Everything that we talk about pertains to 100, maybe a 10% or 20% at best. But the real opportunity for India probably lies at the bottom of the pyramid, correct? Do you think in the foreseeable future, mobile will be able to reach that and tap that? Or will that be, or will there be two Indias? One which is going to be, you know, continue to be the consuming class and probably may go on to be 300 billion, but there'll be 700 million or 800 million who are untouched or less touched.
In fact, I believe that mobile will penetrate the bottom of the pyramid quicker, or as it already is doing in urban areas, with the smartphone price points dropping to, you know, 3,000, 4,000 rupees. It's really becoming accessible, and as bandwidth gets easier, and as video, which is literacy agnostic, gets more and more consumed, because the beauty of the mobile is that it goes with you. I mean, if you're a person who's riding an auto rickshaw, no, you can't be watching TV. You have to work, but you certainly have this one thing which goes with you. So in between, when you don't have a commuter, you're logging in, you're WhatsApping, you're looking at your favorite video. So I believe, in fact, mobile will be much more a bottom of the pyramid phenomenon than the top level, because the top level guy has several streams coming to him. He's got his HD screen, he's got he's got lots of other devices. But for the person who has put in a lot of his personal investment into buying that 4,000, 5,000 rupee handset, that's his lifeline to a lot of things. So I believe it's a bottom of the pyramid phenomenon, actually.
I only hope that auto rider sort of sees it, in between fares and not during the fares. Yes. Okay, I think Raghav's got to go, so I think if we can open it up to the audience, if anybody has a question, you could put up your hand and maybe we could ask one or two questions depending upon time. Yes, sir. Can somebody reach a mic? Why don't you, maybe you could just get up and say it loud, yeah.
Hi, I'm Khushru. You were talking about the, I'm not sure the terminology used, but the editorial part, the native advertising. And the paid editorial, you referred to the paid editorials that you have in newspapers. And then you gave an example of what you did. So are you suggesting that there would be kind of paid editorials in this social media platform also in that sense?
Absolutely. Native advertising today has developed or is developing in the West as a real content stroke advertising marriage.
So is the content that you're talking about what you already have on Facebook and LinkedIn as your paid advertisements or pay by click kind of campaigns that you run?
No,
not
this
that.
is content created for the advertiser. So you have, for instance, I saw a
How
great.
is it different from that? I mean, my question really would be that.
No, it's different. I'll give again. Examples will tell much better than putting it in theory. I saw a fantastic native advertising campaign by Nike, done on Vox's the sports platform, because Vox really started as a sports platform, and it's the profile of the best basketballers in NBA today. The profile is shot like the best possible television series, and they're all talking about their life stories, but they're all wearing Nike shoes. So it's a content. It's content. I consume it as content as a sports lover, because for me the story of that guy is lovely, but through that video, he's wearing Nike shoes, and there are inserts of that. It's sponsored by Nike. That's not hidden. But it's not a buy Nike campaign. It's just telling the story. So all of these things will happen.
Yes, please.
My name is Milind. I work in a mobile advertising marketing company. My question, Raghav, is you mentioned that one of the inhibitants of not having actually mobile spends being increasing is around the technology readiness and so on and so forth. I have a slightly contrary view, and hence I would like to have a quick point of view from you on that. If you look at technologies on mobile advertising marketing, it's extremely democratized. Whatever is cutting edge available in US or UK or whatever, or even in Japan, is on the same day or a day before or a day later is available in India as a cutting edge part. And if you look at those markets, the spends are very high double digits. I mean, UK, if you look at a market, is almost exceeding the traditional spends. How much of this problem of Indian advertising media mix on mobile, which is about, or digital is about 10%, is due to the awareness or education, evangelization, and belief of a brand advertiser vis-a-vis technology? My belief is the evangelization is missing. I think all the other elements are bang on there. 400 years, we never questioned the ROI or efficacy of mediums. But on mobile, on day one, we want to question it. So how much is it an evangelizing problem and not technology problem?
No, it's not. When I talked about the technology, I never talked about it in the context of that is one of the problems for advertising. I believe the advertising problem, technology is in fact such a superb enabler. As I said, I had to take a call on how to spend 10 lakh rupees on promoting the book. And I realized that the biggest bang for the buck I am getting is by putting 9 lakhs into mobile advertising. And because I understand it, because I've been evangelized. So I think you're absolutely right. It is the brand manager who has to learn. It's with due respect to Ashish, the advertising leaders who have to become aware of the power of this.
How could we do that is what I'm looking from you. With your trainers, how could you act?
There are events like these, but ultimately people, the people when they spend money and they start seeing a more potent and effective way of spending money, it's a matter of time. These things have to happen because the power of targeting is so immense and the price point today is so low that there is no way that you will not start seeing the benefits of this. It's a matter. And technology is not the problem at all. It is today bandwidth. It is today penetration because we only 70, 80 million or 100 million smartphones today. And what you've talked about, awareness and evangelization. But awareness and evangelization, if you're a believer in free markets, as I am, it's a matter of time. Because once your bread and butter depends on it, and your efficiency depends on it, and your next bonus depends on it, you will learn that very quickly.
Also to add on to that, if you study even China or if you study other Western markets, the tipping point typically comes, as we were discussing earlier, when about 30% of the phones become smartphones. I think we're about 18 to 24 months away from there. But meanwhile, your industry and people like you, what you could do is share success stories. One of the things that everybody likes to get onto a winning bandwagon, right? One of the things I think mobile hasn't yet done is shared enough actual real life success stories. Like for example, Raghav saying that I managed to promote my book in 9 lakhs of rupees on mobile, where otherwise I would have spent 50 lakhs and probably still not got what I wanted. And this is the result I got. Those kind of success stories, I think you guys need to bring up a lot more. Sorry. Any other question? Maybe we'll have one last question because Raghav really has to leave. Any other questions from the audience?
It's got one person there.
Yes, please.
Hi, Mr. Bal. My name is Karthik Jagtap. I'm a former journalist who's just entered the advertising sphere. And I couldn't agree more with your session, especially about prime time news, because if you see today, a Times Now or a CNN IBN would actually be putting out hashtags, something like ashamed in Sydney, where they're competing on social media. Going back to your presentation, you spoke about Story Hunter and how that concept is very good for today's changing market. But do you see that being implemented in India successfully, considering how vast our demography is? And secondly, if it can be implemented well, how do advertisers or how do brands seek a way to grow with it? I mean, if you're going to, say, channel a bunch of reporters who are based in a rural part of India, how can a brand or how can a marketing agency use it to their advantage?
Will it happen in India? I believe it will happen in India quicker than anywhere else. Because of our size and diversity. Because I am not able to position a full-time foot soldier at all the places. Because of that, as a story hunter, India gets launched. I'm just using that as an example. As a, literally, it's a marketplace platform for journalism.
Right.
One of the products we are developing, technology products we are developing at the Quint addresses that. I'm not saying we'll be great at it, maybe someone else will be better.
Right.
But people will come in and create these marketplaces and it will happen. As far as advertising, you know, I didn't mention it in my, in the presentation, but I now have a creeping sense of conviction almost.
Right.
That what will move towards, what will start getting advertised are individual story pieces. That's not begun to happen yet. No one is advertising individual story pieces. But I can see that. I can see an advertiser for, say, a pharma company saying, I want to sponsor all your Nepal stories.
True.
Because what is happening is the unit of consumption is moving to the story, which is the point I was making about people coming into the story page.
Right.
No one's coming to the home page. So the display on the home page has no meaning.
Of course.
It's the display on the story page. So therefore, I don't see that too far away where you say, this IPL story is brought to you by Nike on the story itself, because the story is getting consumed, no longer the platform. And that's, you know, that's where individual journalism will come in.
But wouldn't that run the risk of commercializing news? I mean, if
why? News is today sponsored in any case, right?
Right.
When you put an ad, today half the newspapers in India below the fold have become ads.
Of course, yeah.
So, you know, so there's a commercialization
And
has
some
been
above the fold as well.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
maybe we'll have one last question since this gentleman has put up his hand. If you can give the mic in the front, please.
Hi, my name is Nitin Manjrekar. We do mobile app development. Raghav, I would say that, you know, we are going one step ahead of what you said just now. We say that each individual would become a journalist himself. So somebody would, you know, stream a video up onto a platform, and then there would be some other one who would be writing scripts for it. You see, so that day has already come, and we already have that in the platforms. It's not very far where people would start streaming individual stories, and then you would be seeing somebody writing scripts about it very soon.
So except that I would put the filter of experience, wisdom, and quality. So today you still see a lot of Facebook. People are putting everything out, right? And that's getting consumed within a circle of friends. So I think the distinction between private media and public media. Private media is when I'm only interested in sharing things with my friends. But public media is where wisdom, experience, and just understanding would come in. So the world will get divided. It already has. Today you go to Facebook to see private, you want to see what your friend, their kids, everything, and you want to see public media content as well.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. Thanks.
Thank you, Raghav,
Ashish,
for
thank you very
not
much.
just a lovely talk, but also for sharing all your wisdom and expertise with us. Thank you so much. Thank you.